Jack Willard here, welcoming you to our video, Amazed People Visiting Bob Joyce's Church. Of course, we're talking about Household of Faith in Benton, Arkansas. Many of you visit, and quite a few of you tell me in an email about your experience, mostly positive experiences. I'll tell you one way to make it not so positive at the end of this video. The first experience is from a woman with the first initial N. She says, we arrived in Benton around 9:15 a.m. on that Sunday morning. That's late. That's late. That could mean on some Sundays you'd find yourself watching the service on closed-circuit TV in the fellowship hall, as they have many visitors from across America, Canada, and international visitors often. We had to park down the road. Pastor Bob has his own space with cones around it. Everyone was really nice. They had a huge bowl of hard candy in the foyer with postcards, calendars of Bob, and of course a table with his CDs for sale. We were told we could sit anywhere. Fair number of seats to choose from. Must have been a slow week. That can happen when certain times of the year, especially when you have international visitors and visitors from as far away as New York, Canada. Not every single Sunday will have the same amount of visitors. A young man who comes from Memphis was going to fill in on the guitar that Sunday as the whole family were sick. Gene's son plays guitar in the Household of Faith praise band. The young man got up to prepare to play. Pastor Bob Joyce walked in. He had his back to us as he was talking to people in the foyer. He turned and looked at us. I immediately stood up and introduced myself. He looked me straight in the eye. I was not sure if he was searching to see if I was there for Elvis or God. But I felt such a connection to him. Such a connection to him in that moment. My husband would say he was charismatic. I feel he was genuine. The service was very nice. The music had such positive energy. I was in tears. That explains the tissue boxes in every row. Afterwards, we stood to have a photo and get his pic and CD autographed. He even had Sharpies on hand. He did have one of his singers take the photo and someone doing crowd control. Not everybody talks about very noticeable bodyguards. About 50% do. We told him we enjoyed it and hoped to come back soon. Pastor Bob said, quote, "People say they will come back, and they always do." I was so happy to have been there and even gotten a hug. The church is so warm and inviting. People are genuine. Everyone makes you feel welcome. The experience had such an impact on me that I dreamt about it for the next 3 nights. Another viewer told us that Bob Joyce has this awesome, loving presence. He found it hard to look in his eyes. He is a very loving man. His wife got a long hug, and perhaps more about their experience in the future. Another interesting tidbit from our last Saturday night live show, Worldwide Ramblings from Richard Lyon. Richard pointed out that the last, he did this in the last live show, that Bob Joyce's first CD, Along the River, has a release date printed on it of 1990. Well, that's significant because we don't know anything about Pastor Bob Joyce until really 2011, when John Cook began to load videos of him preaching and singing on YouTube. The Bob Joyce channel was created. When we first see Bob Joyce, he's a little heavier. Certainly looks like Elvis Presley. Hair not completely white, and he's preaching in a church with a rock wall background. We have no way of verifying if this CD was released in 1990 and where it was released, because, again, we don't have a record of Bob preaching till 2011. Songs like the title song, Along the River, Let My People Go, The Author of Love, God's Sacrifice, and Where the Angels Sing all sound very much like Elvis Presley. No attempt to hide that. On several of those songs, Bob captures the huskiness, the almost want to say sensuality of the Elvis voice that imitators have a hard time copying. Never is this more true when we get to the Winds of Grace CD and we hear Bob Joyce singing, He Hideth My Soul. You can hear us play about half of that song on our video, Elvis, Bob Joyce Evidence in Rapid Fire. Very successful video for us. He Hideth My Soul is definitive younger Elvis. As with the songs on Along the River, I don't know if we're talking 1990 here. We're talking earlier than that. Who knows how many gospel songs Elvis recorded that never made it on to one of his gospel albums. You always have to put some on the chop block, but He Hideth My Soul should have never been on the chop block. So the story continues to fascinate, and interest continues to peak. You often hear us on Saturday nights at 10:30 East Coast time for Worldwide Ramblings. Now, if you miss any of our live shows, they're all there in the live section of this channel, the virtual church of the disillusioned. My personal email is jackthefairguy@gmail.com. Jack the Fair Guy, F-A-I-R guy, @gmail.com. Thanks for watching. God bless you.